just was working, I didn't just know his number, nice, so. That's what I was thinking of. But, that's.
Okay, I let him know. Okay, so our first item, if anyone cares to make a motion on, is the compensation for Public Works Director position.
I'll make a motion to.
I'll second that.
$10,000 bonus.
Okay. Motion by Dave, second by Tom.
We want it all to go to him, not 5 and 1,000 each employee.
I mean, he did speak about that.
Just a thought, he said his team morale was low.
Do we leave it up to him to decide what to do with it? No, then he'd have to pay all the taxes on it.
I don't think you can do that.
I think just a thought.
Yeah, I know. I do keep coming
And
back.
I'd be open to a mini van for 5 GM. There's only 5 full-time. Where's that?
That's what he said.
Can we confirm that?
There are 4 full-time and 1 part-time.
So 55, and then 500 to the part-time and 1,000 to the full-time.
I like that.
Sure.
That sounds good to me.
I'm just curious, Scott, what do you think of that? I mean, he spoke of that, but what do you think is really going on? I mean, do you think he really wants the 10?
How, before you answer that, my question is, how is the morale going to be if he gets a big bonus and they don't get anything?
These are all the difficult questions.
Well, I think he's also smart enough to probably know that we're financially in a pickle, right? And so we would love to give everyone a $10,000 bonus, right? But it's just not in the cards. So
One question on that, splitting it, are the full-time employees being paid overtime due to the shortages and such that they're making more than others would have? Because Jerry doesn't.
When overtime is warranted or approved, they do get overtime for any hours over 40 within a week.
Are they,
Is that happening?
is that happening regularly or more than average now? Or is Jerry really covering all of that?
Jerry is covering most of that. They're not taking overtime because of the project.
So then that bonus would really be a bonus to the employees instead of just additional compensation for their additional work. Because if they work extra, they get paid extra.
correct. That's good. Well, I guess feel differently now.
Yeah, right. Not the bad.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not, he's obviously, I've seen him.
I think he's putting in tons of work. I guess,
Share.
I think,
And managing all that.
and managing all that, I think the 10 should just go to him.
I see him at least 4 times a week. 8 o'clock at night, he's still there.
I mean, he's managing.
There may be some, undue stress on some of the employees, but they're not salaried, so they don't. All right, I'll amend it back to 10,000 a year.
All right, back to the original motion,
Second.
10 and Jerry. Any other comments, questions, or discussion?
Just, I don't know, directed to Scott, do you think he's gonna leave? I mean, do you think,
This would make it more like.
that he won't leave, but would he take the bonus and run?
No,
I
he's
guess there's
not.
no guarantee.
He
but-
seems like he's really committed, but I don't know, I mean, that was seemed genuine, I mean.
I have a hard time answering that question. I really cannot. I've had conversations with him, and I know that there are days that he's
He
been
wants to leave.
extremely frustrated.
Mhm.
And I cannot predict the future,
No, you can't.
which is why I had put in my recommendation that this is paid at the,
And-
once the the bulk of the project has been completed.
Mhm.
So do we need to include that in an emotion then?
Yeah,
It is.
It is, okay.
Okay, at the end of
Okay.
August.
Yeah, end of August.
Darren?
Where do we split it? 5,000 phase one, 5,000 phase two?
I don't think that incentive enough for them
No.
to stay around for 3
I
more years.
think we better be looking for a new public works.
Right.
More phase two, yeah.
I like the thought,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's enough to hold them.
All right,
Okay.
let's go ahead and take a vote on it. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next,
I'd like to make an amendment to, is it?
Would we
I need
consider
to
the
Motion for reconsideration.
Motion for reconsideration that would
No,
change it.
And then,
Okay,
that's the motion.
okay.
So the motion is for reconsideration, and that reopens this whole matter.
and then a motion would
And
be
then you
for,
do a discussion and potential second motion for approval.
okay, so a motion for reconsideration
Mhm.
of the action
Of
on
the
the development agreement.
Daily fine.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay,
And both of, just to confirm here, both of you voted in favor of the prior
Correct.
motion.
Correct.
motion by Tracy, second by Tom, all in favor of reconsideration?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
So now this procedurally just opens it up as if it's a clean slate for any action on this item. If nothing passes, the prior action stands.
Okay.
I have a question.
Hold on, Tracy, first.
Well, I was gonna make a motion that we fine, but only fine weekly instead of daily.
Is there a second to that motion before we have discussion?
I'll second.
Okay, Tracy, and I'm saying a second by Dave, I heard.
That way, it really, it's just 5 weeks, you can pay the fine.
Right.
Did you, have a question?
Well, no, I heard Dave say 200 a week. I mean, if we can do that, we're at least letting him notice that, he's gotta move on, and we're not handicapping him.
Okay, so in favor of a fine per week.
Yes.
And that, to be clear, is that the 50 fine that adds up to $200?
It's,
Yeah,
so
well,
it's required to be, first citation is $25 forfeiture, which is $175.30. Second violations are $50 forfeiture, which is $230. $200.30. 50 cents. Those are set in the ordinances, so those aren't really discretionary. The discretionary action is the frequency of citation.
Okay, any other questions or discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And with that, our business is done and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Is someone gonna let him know then?
I will,
Give him good news.
Give him the good
unless you want.
I will.
Brightness night up.
I'll let him know.
He'll officially know.
Well,
Then I gotta